Hello viewers, welcome back for another interesting session on tourism, nature of tourism development. The topic can be studied under the following subheadings. They are Organization for Responsible and Community Based Tourism, Indicators of Need for Development, Components of Tourism Industry, Structural Component and Element of Tourism Industry, and tourism marketing. Coming to the first one, Organization for Responsible and Community Based Tourism. Its scope and objectives. Organization for Responsible and Community Based Tourism is a not-for-profit organization registered under Societies Registration Act 21 of 2014 and has its head office in New Delhi, India. Aims and objectives of ORCBT towards the tourism development in 2014 are mentioned below. To promote responsible and community-based tourism so that locals can enjoy increased socio-economic benefits and improved environment. To develop tourism with dignity, respect and nurture local cultures so that they enrich the tourism experience and build pride and confidence among local communities. To minimize negative social, economical and environmental impacts of mass tourism and promote tourism which is sustainable. To foster the development of community-based tourism by providing marketing, training, financial and mentoring support. To preserve and enhance local culture, art, handicrafts, monuments and other natural and man-made tourist resources and protect them from over-commercialization and over-exploitation. To promote and ensure the respect and dignity of people in tourism marketing and promotion. To create and promote forms of tourism that provide healthy interaction opportunities for tourists and locals and increase better understanding of different cultures, customs, lifestyles, traditional knowledge and beliefs. To provide tourists with authentic, educational and quality experiences. Example, by creating opportunities for them to interact with locals in an unstructured, spontaneous manner. To involve local communities in all stages of responsible tourism development, that is planning, decision making and implementation of tourism development activities in their region so that the tourism is in harmony with the priorities of local communities. To encourage proactive participation and involvement by all stakeholders including government bodies, private sector, tourism organizations, local communities, NGOs, youth clubs, etc. at all stages of tourism life cycle. To conduct research on different aspects of responsible and community-based tourism, make suitable plans and strategies and implement responsible tourism projects. To conduct market research and identify places and activities of touristic interest. Example, local music, dance, cuisine, art and craft, festivals and events etc. and use them in sustainable manner for tourism development. To generate employment and self-employment opportunities for the poor and disadvantaged section of the community by involving them directly in tourism services. To provide training and consultancy to local communities, government bodies, tourism organizations and private sectors and enable them to develop and promote responsible and community-based tourism in their areas so that positive impacts of tourism are maximized and negative one minimized. To organize and promote responsible and community-based tours, cultural exchange programs, student exchange programs, internship or training in abroad and other such activities at national and international level. To promote environmental awareness, conservation and sustainable use of natural resources. To seek help and assistance from the government and public sources for the promotion of responsible tourism. To raise funds and to receive donations, subscriptions, gifts and consideration to make provision for the implementation of the above objectives. To take on lease, purchase or to accept as gifts any land, building or to construct structure thereon which may be necessary or convenient for carrying out the above objectives. Coming to indicators of need for development. Tourism development in India has passed through many phases. At government level, the development of tourist facilities will be taken up in a planned manner in 2017, coinciding with a 12 5-year plan. The approach has evolved from isolated planning of single unit facilities in the 6th and 7th year plans. The 6th plan marked the beginning of a new era when tourism began to be considered a major instrument for social integration and economic development. But it was only after 80s that tourism activity gained momentum. The government took several significant steps. A national policy on tourism was announced in 1982. Later in 1988, the National Committee on Tourism formulated a comprehensive plan for achieving a sustainable growth in tourism. In 2013, a national action plan was prepared, and in 2014, the National Strategy for Promotion of Tourism was drafted. In 2015, a draft new tourism policy in tune with the economic policies of the government and the trends in tourism development was published for public use. The draft policy is now under revision. The proposed policy recognizes the roles of central and state governments, public sector undertakings and the private sector in the development of tourism. The need for involvement of Panchayat Raj institutions, local bodies, non-governmental organizations and the local youth in the creation of tourism facilities has also been recognized. Tourist attractions. India is a country known for its lavish treatment to all visitors, no matter where they are come from. Its visitors-friendly traditions, varied lifestyles and cultural heritage and colorful fairs and festivals held abiding attractions for the tourists. Yoga, Ayurveda and natural health resorts also attract tourists. The Indian handicrafts, particularly jewelry, carpets, leather goods, ivory and brass work are the main shopping items of foreign tourists. The estimates available through surveys indicate that nearly 40% of the tourist expenditure on shopping is spent on such items. Growth. Domestic tourism is as old as the Indian society. According to the available statistics, domestic tourism has grown substantially during the last 1 decade. It increased to 267 million in 2013 from just 72 million in 2014, thus registering a compound annual growth of 32.3%. The growth of inbound tourism since independence has been quite impressive. It was just around 92,000 in 2009. From this level, it rose to 45 million in 2013. Tourism receipts on other hand have grown at a phenomenal rate of 37% to rupees 52,540 crore in 2011 from rupees 16.8 crore in 2013. Economic impact. Tourism has emerged as an instrument of employment generation, poverty alleviation and sustainable human development. During 2012 to 17, employment generation through tourism was estimated at 35.29 million. Foreign exchange earnings from the tourism sector during 2012 and 17 were estimated at rupees 77.124 crore. Tourism has thus become the second largest net foreign exchange earner for the country. Tourism also contributed rupees 53,259 crore during 2007 to 2012 towards the country's GDP. Thrust areas. In order to speed up the development of tourism in the country, several thrust areas have been identified for the accomplishment during the 12th five-year plan. The importance will be given for the development of infrastructure, trekking, winter sports, wildlife and beach resorts, and streamlining of facilitation procedures at airports, human resource development, and facilitating private sector participation in the growth of infrastructure. Organization. The organizations involved in the development of tourism in India are the Ministry of Tourism with its 21 field offices within the country and 18 abroad, Indian Institute of Tourism and Travel Management, National Council for Hotel Management and Catering Technology, Indian Tourism Development Corporation, Indian Institute of Skiing and Mountaineering, and the National Institute of Water Sports. Boosting tourism. Some of the recent initiatives taken by the government to boost tourism include grant of export house status to the tourism sector and incentives for promoting private investment in the form of income tax exemptions, interest subsidy and reduced import duty. The hotel and tourism related industry has been declared a high priority industry for foreign investment, which entails automatic approval of direct investment up to 51% of foreign equity and allowing 100% non-resident Indian investment and simplifying rules regarding the grant of approval to travel agents, tour operators and tourist transport operators. Celebrations. During the Golden Jubilee celebrations of India as a republic, the Ministry of Tourism made special efforts to publicize the tourism potential of India. The first ever Indian Tourism Day was celebrated on January 25, 1998. Buddha Mahotsava was organized from 24th October to 8th November of 1998. The year 1999 was celebrated as Explore India Millennium Year by presenting a spectacular tableau on the cultural heritage of India at the Republic Day Parade and organizing Indian Tourism Expo in New Delhi and Khajuraho. A special calendar on events has been formulated for highlighting contributions of millennium events by various places in all the states. An official website of the Ministry of Tourism has also been created for facilitating dissemination of information on tourism. Constraints. The major constraint in the expansion of international tourist traffic to India is non-availability of adequate infrastructure, including adequate air seat capacity, accessibility to tourist destinations, accommodation and trained manpower in sufficient number. Indian tourism has vast potential for generating employment and earning large sums of foreign exchange, besides giving a boost to the country's overall economic and social development. Much has been achieved by way of increasing air seat capacity, increasing trains and railway connectivity to important tourist destinations, four-laning of roads connecting to important tourist centers, and increasing availability of accommodation by adding heritage hotels to hotel industry and encouraging paying guest accommodation. But much more remains to be done. Since tourism is a multi-dimensional activity and basically a service industry, it would be necessary that all wings of the central and state governments private sector and voluntary organizations become active partners in the endeavor to attain sustainable growth in tourism. Next is components of tourism industry. The components of travel and tourism can be broadly divided into 6 key areas. First one, travel agent. A travel agent provides information to the people on various tourism destinations, advises them to available mode of transportation to suit their tastes and budget, and chart their travel plan. He would generally sell the travel associated products like currency exchange, car rentals, insurance, etc. Tour operators. An organization, firm or company who buys individual travel components, supplier, and combines them into a package tour, which is sold with their own price tag to the public directly or through the middlemen, is called a tour operator. Lodging and catering. This component consists of those who provide accommodation to the people in the form of hotels, resorts, apartments, camps, guest houses, etc. The accommodation may be marketed individually or through the tour operators in the form of package. Various kinds of transport. Transport providers are those operating any major form of transport. They could be airlines, cruise lines, car rentals, and rail companies. A tourist's choice of transport would depend on the travel budget, destination, time, purpose of the tour, and convenience to the point of destination. Information and guiding. The tourist information and guidance providers give information about the destination, travel insurance, information about a monument, etc. Tourist attractions. The principle of attraction is to establish the need for the attraction in a particular location to invite more footfalls. It may be a huge theme park, a museum, a gallery, a heritage building, an educational center, etc. Many countries see the need to have one or more visitor attraction in the area to widen their appeal and attract huge potential tourists. Coming to the next one, structural component and element of tourism industry. Tourism, which is seen as the act of traveling from one place to another for the purpose of pleasure, leisure, meeting, sport, health, religion, and sightseeing. Tourism is of 2 elements, journey to destination and the staying, including activities engaged at the destination. There are 3 basic components of tourism, which is known as 3 A's of tourism. First one is attraction. It is considered as the most important basic component of tourism. Attraction means anything that creates a desire in any person to travel to a specific tourist destination or attraction. Local is another basic component of tourism. The local may be used to include the holiday destination and what it offers to the tourists. The holiday destination may offer natural attractions. It is considered as the most important basic component of tourism. Fashion is an important factor in the demand for various tourist attractions and amenities. The tourist who visit a particular place for its natural beauty may decide to visit some other attractions due to a change in fashion. Next is accessibility. Accessibility means transportation to the place of destination through various means. Transportation should be regular, comfortable, economical, and safe. The transportation should be there for all kinds of tourists and destination. Next is accommodation. It is a place where tourists can find food and shelter provided he or she is in a fit position to pay for it. There are various types of accommodation from a 7-star deluxe hotel to a normal budget class hotel. Elements of tourism. There are certain elements or ingredients of tourism, and these are what tourist considers before visiting a destination area. They are as follows. First one, pleasing weather. Fine weather with warm sunshine is one of the most important attractions of any tourist place. Particularly, good weather plays an important role in making a holiday pleasant or an unpleasant experience. Tourists from countries with extremes of weather visit beaches in search of fine weather and sunshine. Due to this, many spas and resorts along the sea coast come into existence. In Europe, countries like Italy, Spain and Greece have developed beautiful beach resorts. In some countries, hill station resorts have been developed to cater for the needs of tourists. The best example for this is Shimla. Scenic attractions. No doubt, scenic attractions are very important factors in tourism. Scenery consisting of mountains, lakes, waterfalls, glaciers, forests, deserts is strong forces attracting people to visit them. Thousands of tourists are attracted by the slopes of Western Ghats and also Himalayan mountain slopes of India and Nepal. Historical and cultural factors. Historical and cultural interest exercise tremendous influence over travelers. Large numbers of tourists are attracted every year by the great drawing power of Stratford and Avon in England because of its association with Shakespeare, or the city of Agra in India because of its historical and cultural importance. So also the world famous caves of Ajanta and Ellora in India are visited by tourists because of its architecture, painting and religious importance. Accessibility. Accessibility is another important factor of tourism. There should be accessibility for each and every location of tourist attractions. If the locations are inaccessible by the normal means of transport, it would be of little importance. All kind of transport facilities are to be made available for such locations. The distance factor also plays an important role in determining a tourist choice of a destination. Longer distance cost much than to short distances. Amenities. Facilities are considered necessary aid to the tourist center. For a seaside resort, facilities like swimming, boating, yachting, surfing, such recreations facilities and amusements is an important feature. There are two types of amenities, was natural and man-made. Accommodation. The need and necessity of accommodation cannot be ignored in tourist destination. Accommodation plays a vital role in this field. Many changes have taken place in accommodation recently. New types of accommodation, particularly holiday villages, apartment houses, camping and caravan sites and tourist cottage etc. have become very popular. Safety and security. Safety and security are vital to providing quality in tourism. More than any other economic activity, the success or failure of a tourism destination depends on being able to provide a safe and secure environment for visitors. Other factors. Besides the above factors, hospitality is one of such factors among the variety of factors. It is the duty of the host country to be hospitable towards tourists. For this, French and Indian governments have done a lot. A series of short films on various themes like being polite, cleanliness and welcoming a visitor were prepared and exhibited through a wide network of cinema theatres all over the country. Slogans like "Welcome a visitor, send back a friend" were displayed at various important exit and entry points like railway stations, airports and seaports. Following the above methods, many other countries launched "Be Nice" campaigns. It means that the tourist must be treated as friends. Moving on to tourism marketing. Tourism is the fastest growing industry in the world as well as the one of the world's most competitive one. This competition is constantly growing as more and more destinations seek to attract tourists and more companies and organizations become involved in the highly skilled business of destination planning, transportation, accommodation and catering for the tourists. In India itself, the estimated foreign exchange receipts from tourism increased from $22.27 billion in 2013 to $41.32 billion in 2014. In 2014, India crossed the 12.2 million arrivals mark of foreign tourists, and the domestic tourist flow in the country in 2017 was estimated to be 920 million. According to Crippen, tourism marketing is to be understood as the systematic and coordinated execution of business policy by tourist undertakings, whether private or state owned, at local, regional, national or international level to achieve the optimal satisfaction of the needs of identifiable consumer groups, and in doing so to achieve an appropriate return. Marketing is an essential part of running a business. In case of tourism marketing, it involves all managerial activities of service firm or organizations are performed with the customer in mind and treating him as the hub of the firm. The customer's needs, wants and desires are analyzed and categorized. The service marketers then goes back to his service design center to develop service offer especially for the customer. The service firm with as entire energy then is channeled to appropriately use its marketing minds to produce and deliver. Coming to conclusion, tourism industry in India is growing and it has vast potential for generating employment and earning large amount of foreign exchange, besides giving a fillip to the country's overall economic and social development. But much more remains to be done. Ecotourism needs to be promoted so that tourism in India helps in preserving and sustaining the diversity of the India's natural and cultural environments. Tourism in India should be developed in such a way that it accommodates and entertains visitors in a way that is minimally intrusive or destructive to the environment and sustains and supports the native cultures in the locations it is operating in. Moreover, since tourism is a multidimensional activity and basically a service industry, it would be necessary that all wings of the central and state governments, private sector and voluntary organizations become active partners in the endeavor to attain sustainable growth in tourism if India is to become a world player in the tourism industry. Thank you.